So now I think it's time for me to hand over the mic to my good friend and also kind of teammate, Chandrakant BN. He was the founder of, the co-founder of Theorem, which scaled up in Mysuru. So whatever the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission is saying, think beyond Bangalore, go to the other cities. These guys did it long back and they scaled it up to a very big volume and number. And then after that, he moved on to start another company, which is called the Pyri Group. They are into, IT services. They're into manufacturing, and they're also into coaching. Now why this coaching element? Because Chandra himself set up companies and did the whole scale up operation. Now the biggest challenge for entrepreneurs is to scale up. And as you scale up, you are hit from every direction with every kind of problem. So how do you keep your calm and go through that? It requires a level of somebody who is mature, who can coach you through that area. So that's why he's doing the coaching part. I would also think it may be even not for profit, but in any case, they do it in a very thorough and proper way. So these are the three elements of the Pyri Group. Apart from that, Chandrakant BN is also the senior vice chairman of the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. And therefore, we work together on some projects, and he has been very supportive and helpful, especially to take the message of collaboration and working together to the larger industry. So with these few words, I would like to invite Chandrakant BN to stage, and then he will manage this panel. Over to you, Chandra.
Thanks, Jose. Thanks for the wonderful introduction and calling me a friend, but I have my doubts about you being my friend because you've been really cruel to me by giving me this slot right after lunch. Wonderful lunch, right? You all enjoyed the lunch? Good. So welcome back, and but don't worry, we have a fantastic set of speakers and some fascinating entrepreneurs coming up, so I think we'll all have a good time. When I came here because, as Joe said, he's a good friend of mine. But the last 2 days, I've spent most of the time here, and it's been so fascinating. And for me, it's been a life-changing event. I have heard these terms, sustainability, climate change, etc., but have never paid too much attention to it. Primarily, I think because I'm born and raised in Bangalore, we are very spoilt. One of the things that we always say is Bangalore has good climate, good weather. We have never faced any adversities like earthquakes or tornadoes or hurricanes or flooding, etc. So growing up in Bangalore makes us a little complacent. But hey, we've got a wake-up call this year. Just in the last, the monsoons usually end by about August time, and by September it's sunny. October, we have a few rains here. November, a few rains, maybe not. But this year it's been non-stop. And as we speak, it's still raining every day. And everybody's been wondering what happened. And I guess we got the answers from all the speakers yesterday. Jan, beautiful presentation. I learned a lot from that. So one thing we all have to agree is time has come. We cannot ignore the climate change and brush it off as something that people want to talk about just as a fancy, right? Our topic right now, what we are going to discuss now is urban planning, design, resource management. And why are we talking about this? Cities are a key contributor to climate change. Despite accounting for less than 2% of the Earth's surface, cities consume 78% of the world's energy and produce over 60% of all greenhouse gas emissions. By 2050, about 68% of the global population is expected to reside in urban conglomerations. One in every 2 Indians is expected to live in a city, live in cities by that year. Not a small number. United Nations in 2019 estimated that India will surpass China as one of the world's most populous country by 2027. Also, India's urbanization is poised to accelerate in the coming decades. During 2011 to 36, urban growth will be responsible for 73% of the rise in rise in total population. Earlier estimations indicated that 416 million people will be added as urban dwellers in India between 18 and 50, and that India will be 50% urban by 2050. Not small numbers. What does this all mean? It definitely poses a challenge in terms of sustainable development. At the same time, it also poses opportunities for entrepreneurs. As the threat from climate hazards rise, there are practices that we are seeing called blue-green, for example, where blue are elements of water and green are elements like trees, parks, gardens, and blue is seas, rivers, lakes, etc. The blue-green space to help India's cities respond to climate hazards, promote equity and resilience, and catalyze economic transition for sustainable urban futures. Bangalore, since I mentioned I'm born and raised here, except for the few years I lived in the US, has seen 925% increase in built-up area between 73 and 2013, with green features decreasing from 68% to 14%, and blue features from 3% to less than 1%. Now, these are huge numbers, big numbers. I remember 30 years ago, landing into Bangalore, you would see a green carpet. Just 10 years later, we started seeing only concrete jungles. And this is something I've personally seen. And Bangalore is the biggest hit among all Indian cities. I was looking at other data. Perhaps Mumbai was the other one, but rest of the cities are still doing better. But Bangalore is the worst hit when it comes to afforestation and losing of our lakes and water bodies, etc. Definitely a very interesting subject to talk about. Now, I was talking to Professor Lehman over coffee yesterday, and what he was saying, struck a chord. He said it's good for developed economies like Germany and the US to talk about climate change, but for India, we are a growing nation, and for us, growth is very important. Economic prosperity is very important, and that's what we are focused on, and nobody's bothered about. And are we really going to do anything about it while we are focused on our growth? It's nice to sit in boardrooms like this or conferences like this and talk about it, but are we going to do anything about it? So the only way I think India can contribute, and that's our strength, is our innovation and startups. And that's what we're going to talk about in this session. We have a number of good speakers who have done some wonderful things. I've met a few already, and I'm really looking forward to listening to them and seeing what India can do